we are nothing. And it's all because of him that we are who we are and that we know who we are. As Bishop preached so well and taught us last night, that it's important to know who we are. And we know who we are. We know what we've got to do. I predict in the next 5 years, by the time we hit our 10th anniversary, and I don't say this lightly, but we will be ruling the nation. And the government shall be upon his shoulders. And then peace can come to this nation. But just let me tell you this quickly as you ever said. And I'll explain a little bit more tonight. But I feel very strongly in my heart that the word of the Lord came to me very strong and stronger over this weekend. That this will actually be the first nation historically in the world to be under the governance of God. I mean true governance. True kingdom authority expressed through the people of God and through our political orders. So we're going to have a fantastic time tonight. But right now, it's our awesome privilege to introduce you to somebody.
He made a declaration that in 5 years, you shall be ruling and reigning in this nation. That means you control the wealth. That means you control the riches. That means you control the politics. That means you control the social order. That means that you are in charge. Touch your neighbor and say, it happens because of order.
I mean, you listen here to Brian Tupman, they're saying, look, we're doing good stuff. What is the problem? It is no different from any other business that has a hierarchy and a set of protocols.
Well, we deal with cults all the time, and within this document here, we see codified the very mechanisms by which cults go askew. For example, Heaven's Gate Applewhite had people subjugated to him, and what happened was, as the leader goes strange, if he's the only point of reference, then all the people go strange. So, for example, Applewhite came to the idea that perhaps it was a good idea to commit suicide, to go to a a comet, a spaceship behind a comet. And because he was the only point of reference that all his people looked up to, they also committed suicide. So the pattern is the risk. It's also it's the isolation. It is the fact that Brian claims, or at least seems to claim, to be the mouthpiece of God, even though we know that's not true because his prophecy has failed. But most of all, I think it is that pattern. But also one thing that is important to realise is that Destiny Church, we need context here, Destiny Church is not a Christian church following Jesus Christ. It is a church following a man by the name of Brian Tamaki, who claims to be the mouthpiece of God. And frankly, I mean...
Are you saying they're not Christians?
No, I'm saying what's happened, and I'm not talking about the people, I'm talking about the organisation and how their culture and everything. And Brian is... I've seen diagrams in their teachings and documents and so on where Brian is at the top, God speaks to Brian, Brian speaks to everyone else. It's because they believe in a erroneous doctrine.
Is that any different for Catholics saying the Pope is the conduit to God?
Sure, put it back 300-400 years and we're starting to get how it is now. The Catholics are very different now.
But do you believe Brian Tamaki is a dangerous man?
Personally, I've met him a couple of times and he seems fine. However, what I'm saying is that this need that he has for adoration, you know, all of these guys.
Having been conspicuous by his absence for much of this week, Brian Tamaki today started to front, but not to us, who've covered the story repeatedly and have lots of paperwork and plenty of informed questions to ask. Instead, he spoke to our competitors at TVNZ and to a program that hasn't covered Destiny Church at all this year. And he spoke to his supporter, Willie Jackson, on Radio Live, where we were described as mongrels. Woof. Still, reluctant to take no for an answer, we went in search of Brian Tamaki. Well, this, as you know if you saw the show last night, is an Audi Q7 owned by Simpatico Holdings Limited, which is 100% owned by Destiny International, and it tends to be one of the cars that Brian Tamaki gets around in. And as we speak, he is live on the radio station across the road from me. Now, he consistently turns down interviews with us, but he's able to be interviewed by a radio station live. He's able to talk to newspapers, and he's able to go on TVNZ this evening. We're a bit bewildered by that, and so once again we're going to give him an opportunity to talk to us by seeing if they'll let us join them now. Inside, where they were breaking for the 1 o'clock news, host Willie Jackson was waiting to go back on air with his two guests, Brian Tamaki and Destiny's 2IC Richard Lewis. Although it was a break, neither man would leave the studio to talk to us, and we were asked to leave, which we did. In fact, he said unless we left the building, he was walking out of the interview, and the station made it plain in no uncertain terms that we had to go. But that's no problem because his car's just across the road, so we'll wait for him to leave. Back inside, the two men took calls, almost all of them extremely positive.
I think what Bishop Brian Tamaki's doing is really awesome. Well, I reckon what we should do with Brian Tamaki is we should clone him. I reckon we need about half a dozen Brian Tamaki.
You're obviously hitting the right buttons, mate, because you're stirring things up. Jesus did that and they stuck him on a bit of wood.
Gay's calling us from Brisbane. G'day, Gay.
Among the callers, Gay, phoning all the way from the Brisbane Destiny Church. Funny that, we met her the other day and she wouldn't talk to us either.
Is he getting greedy? Is he asking for too much money?
Hey.
Now, why are you turning off this interview?
Goodbye, mate.
Why are you turning off this interview?
In fact, they were so positive, so on message and so similar, one caller queried...
But it just sounds like the bishop's sort of got all the boys in the church to ring in.
No, I haven't. But if I know if I was running the church, that's what I'd do, but...
Eventually, someone came out to collect the car. They moved it nearer to the door, and then... Oh, Richard. Hi, Brian. Why won't you come on our show, Brian? Why won't you come on our show? Why are you able to do radio interviews and go on television in New Zealand, but you won't speak to us, Brian? It seems curious to me. Your silence seems really curious. Why won't you speak to us? Were those calls you took on the radio from your friends and people in senior positions? Richard, why won't Brian come on the program with us? Richard, why won't he come on the program? We keep asking. Amongst the things I wanted to ask Brian Tamaki about, well, Destiny's Auckland rent. Look at this. Last year, the Destiny Church Auckland Trust of 18 All Right Place paid $517,000 rent to its landlord, Simpatico Holdings, also of 18 Allright Place, which is 100% owned by Destiny International, also of 18 Allright Place. We're a bit confused by that. Where did the money go? And Destiny Auckland also made a donation to Simpatico, with whom it has 2 directors in common, one of them Hannah Tamaki, and which is owned by Destiny International. What for? We're confused by that too. But as you've seen, the answers drove off in a black Audi down Arthur Street.